We are live once again. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. I'm David Shakavage, and with me is Sam Shakavage. Sam, why don't you introduce them? Tell folks who we really are in case they're here for the first time.
We're Carolina Retirement Planners.
Yeah, and I am the president. Sam is my partner in the business. And now for this, is this week 56? Amy, what week are we in? Do you know?
I do know, and this is week 56.
Okay, Amy, behind the scenes, we have Amy, who is our director of client fun and the one that knows how to do all this computer stuff and get us broadcasting the way we should be. And so for 56 weeks now, every Thursday, we have come and joined you here on our happy half hour, 4:30 every Thursday. So good fun. One of the things we like to do is we always like to talk about what day it is, because there's this every day of the year has some kind of national something or other day. Amy, what is today? What is this July 29th?
So the day I picked today is National Chicken Wing Day, because then we can all debate if we want ranch or blue cheese. So that was the national day I went with today.
Okay. And I think we ran an informal poll when we sent out our invitation to see, do people prefer blue cheese or ranch? And how did that go?
Well, we did. And technically, if we just went by our clients, blue cheese won. So blue cheese was hands down the winner. But then
I saw an enormous amount of blue cheese come in through our email.
Yes. So blue cheese was that was it. It won. And then when we started polling our staff and, significant others, ranch overpowered the blue cheese and ranch was the winner. But I just want to throw this in there really quickly and then I'll hop off. What I found that was interesting is that the people that put ketchup on their hot dogs tend to be the people that like ranch. Not always, but I should figure that out. But it was a kind of a weird thing. So yeah, that was kind of interesting.
I wonder if it's a regional thing.
I don't know, but I was like, if you put ketchup on your hot dog, then you kind of tend to lean to putting ranch on your chicken wing. I don't know. So
well, I don't know if you like buffalo sauce on your wings. Were you raised in the North or the South? Yeah. I like ranch on my wings, but I was raised in the South and I like ranch on everything. So, yeah. Well, but you know what I do know about my drum? You know what I do know about my, all right.
I was going to say, Buffalo South is obviously named after buffalo, so that would be the North.
Yeah. My wing preference, though.
Go ahead, spit it out.
I was just saying, if I do have a wing preference, it is my most. I'll dip it in blue cheese, I'll dip it in ranch, but my real preference is a drumstick. I would much rather have a drumstick than a wing. If you're going to give me a wing, I really wish they had like an actual container that was appropriate for dipping the wing, like the drumsticks.
Okay.
So that's my.
Well, one other thing we always like to mention, if you're here for the first time, say hi in the chat. Say hi in the chat. We don't know if you're here unless you say hi. And I can see Bill has joined us as usual. Brad is also here. Cindy, all our regulars. Top fan Jamie is here. Bruce is here. Al has joined us. And then we have Teresa, who is Amy's mother, who is always here on.
Mm-hmm.
And
Bruce is a fan of blue cheese.
Bruce votes for blue cheese. Rick, it's good to see you too. Hopefully Marcy's there. And Jamie is a blue cheese fan. Miranda, another very regular, says hula.
Ooh, Al likes Old Bay on his.
Ooh,
That
okay.
is-
I want to try that. That actually sounds pretty interesting. I like
Yeah, if you
Old
have
Bay
any,
potato chips. I was like, oh, I want to try that now. Yeah. Way to go with that suggestion, Al.
if you have any
I'm
kinky
intrigued.
preferences for wing coatings, let us know,
Mhm.
Hey, Brad. And,
We got one
and
for ranch.
Brad is blue cheese. Lynn says ranch.
And hey, Ann,
Hey, Ann. Yeah.
and another for ranch.
Another for ranch. Ricky is for ranch.
And Carter and Jay are another one for blue cheese.
I'll tell you, this is a provocative question we have here. We're gonna have
It
to.
was really interesting. I mean, everybody that was like chiming in, it was just kind of funny.
I'm not mad about blue cheese. I'm not, I wouldn't turn it down.
I don't like the funky blue cheese. It has to be pretty mild for me. But
We're gonna
yeah.
have to do this on barbecue day and see whether people like the Eastern North Carolina barbecue with vinegar the way God intended, or that abomination of tomato-based barbecue like they do in much of the rest of the country and the state. But so hey Fred, how are
Hey, Fred and Barbara.
yeah, so what is it we're talking about today, Sam?
Well, one of the questions that we get a lot, or the topics that we get a lot, are passing wealth on to the next generation, or passing things on to my kids. People are concerned about their kids and grandkids.
Yeah, Amy, you're going to need to enable screen sharing.
Oh snap! Look at me, like slacking on the job. Too much like voting. You're good
That's
now. You're good to
okay.
go.
That's a lot of little moving pieces. A lot of little moving pieces. Now we'll see if my screen gets shared. Yes, there we go. So yes, we are going to talk about kind of passing. What do you pass on to those cute little grandchildren? And it kind of falls into two realms. Or Sam, what's the first realm we often try to pass on?
Money, your
Money.
assets. Yeah.
One thing we kind of like our kids to do is be better off than we are, and to have better things, and I know my grandfather was a poor coal miner, and my father leveraged the GI Bill into a degree in mining engineering, and that helped get me to a fancy college, and now, hey, look at Sam. Sam is now partners in this business, and so we want our kids to get better and money, but there's other things we might want to pass on. What might they be?
Wisdom.
Wisdom.
Yeah.
You might want to pass on wisdom.
Yeah, teach a man to fish.
Yeah. And you may want to pass on wisdom and some skills. Although I think if you have grandchildren, you don't mind if you want to teach them chess, but you hope they don't beat you till they're at least, out of their teenage years. You don't want them to beat you right away, right?
I remember when we used to play checkers together. We didn't play chess. We played a lot of checkers, and you were brutal. You never let me win.
Yeah, well, I had to bring them up right, So, okay. So when it comes to the financial things, what kind of what are we looking at here? What are some of the
so we can start by finding ways to gift while you're here. And the easiest and the most direct is utilizing the annual gifting limit. And so each year you can gift to as many people as you want, $15,000 without any paperwork, paying any gift tax, or getting the IRS involved at all.
Yeah, so you can just give 15 grand to any person, no strings attached, nothing to fill out, nothing to worry about.
Correct.
but what happens if you want to get more than 15,000?
Well, there are a few cool ways to skin that cat. The first one would be, say, and we get this a lot, is say, you have a child and they want to you want to help them pay a down payment on a house, and say that's $60,000. And so you could gift them $15,000. Your spouse could gift them $15,000. You could gift their spouse $15,000, and your spouse could gift their spouse $15,000. So right there, you could, get them their down payment without having the IRS be involved in any of it.
Yep. So that's all, and that's all legal, and can be a smart way to do it if you want to pass some money on.
Mhm.
The other thing though is, and this is funny, people often say, well, how much can we gift? And, if 15,000 is the limit, in reality, the limit right now for everybody is you can gift $11,700,000 to whoever you want, or to your kids. It turns out that when you die, there is an estate tax limit, and it used to be like 750,000, and then it went to 1 million and 2 and 3.5 and all. Right now, that limit is $11,700,000 per person. If you die, you can pass that much on each you before you have to pay any estate tax. The way the law works, though, if you want, you can give that 11,700,000 ahead of time. It's just when you die, you'll no longer have that 11 million left, or whatever part you gave away ahead of time will be subtracted. So there's really not a practical limit to how much you can gift if you really want to. And they're probably talking about reducing that more to something like 5 million, because we need revenue, we need tax money to pay off our deficits, and dead people don't vote for it, so it's a good place to go to get it. But a little more trivia there on how much you can really gift.
But if you want to utilize that, you should absolutely consult a tax professional.
Yeah, don't do this on your own.
I would not recommend doing that on your own. I would absolutely talk to a professional.
And like anything on our happy half hours, it's not meant to be specific advice to a person. It's meant to bring up, some general questions to ask your accountant, your financial advisor, your attorney, so it's to make you smarter what questions to ask. Well, how else can we pass money along?
Another very popular way is through 529 plans. And this would be most, for many of the people watching, this would be most utilized for grandchildren's education. This is a tax advantaged way to save for future educational expenses. So you can put after tax money in to a 529 plan, and it's going to grow tax preferred or tax deferred, and the distributions are going to be tax free as long as they go to qualified educational expenses. So their tuition, books, supplies, room, and board.
So it's really nice for education, because it's kind of like a Roth IRA for your education is what it is.
It is. And it, so just like a Roth IRA, it's the most effective the earlier that you start, because you have the most time for it to grow.
Does it have to be used for college?
No, you can use it for more than college. They actually have, made some amendments, so you can use up to $10,000 a year to pay for K through 12. And there's also some provisions to assist with student loan repayments.
Okay. And, when it comes to 529s too, there is a ton of rules that go with it, more than we'd want to cover in a happy half hour or it
Mhm.
wouldn't be very happy. But
Yeah.
there's a rule, there's a limit to how much you can put in per year, which is usually that 15,000 per person. So you can't put above the gifting limit. Right now, the North Carolina sets the maximum amount that can be in 529s for a person based upon 4 years of college and like 3 years of graduate school. And it's gone up this year so that you can actually put $500,000 in a 529 for a student. You know, so that's kind of like how much you can stick away for one of your grandkids if you like, probably more than enough. What happens if Sam, what happens if your you know, the grandchild you were saving for decides to go off and become a TikTok star instead of going to college and using this money?
Well, it has to be used for educational expenses. You can change the beneficiary. So hopefully, you know, maybe you have another grandchild or, you know, somebody else in the family that you can use to pay off a loan or to help, or you can use it for your own educational expenses. Say you want to, you know, do your own continuing education somewhere. If you don't use the money for education though, you will not only be taxed, but you will also incur an extra 10% penalty. There
So,
are a few exceptions, and those would be, you know, death and disability.
and I think there's a lot of latitude what you could use it for. I may, and I don't want to quote exactly, but I think that you might even be able to buy certain computer equipments and things if you can tie it to an educational need. So it can be a good place to sock away money and have flexibility. What about jeopardizing student you know benefits, or can it affect whether your grandchildren get you know, scholarships and things? And
Yes, it absolutely can. It is, you know, if you're trying to qualify for financial aid, if you think that your grandchild's trying to qualify for financial aid, then you should own it yourself. And it's, you know, it's good to be timing the distributions wisely, usually at the end of their college term.
yeah, so there's a whole art to it, more than we want to go into just
Yes.
here. But it's a powerful tool. So that's 529 plans. What else about passing things on? What else do we have?
You know, also leaving a legacy. And so one of the most important ways is to have your estate planning documents in place. So many of you may already have experienced settling a parent's estate, and you may understand the tension that it could cause between families, the money that it can cost, and the importance of, you know, really setting it up right and setting it up now so that you know, your children don't have to go through a lot of, you know, heartache and potential tension.
And
Okay.
those of you who are clients know we are really good at nagging people to make sure that's in place, you know, putting them together. We've had Dick Horgan, one of our key attorneys, on this several times in the past 56 episodes. But you really want to make that easy. That should be part of most people want to pass as much as they can on to what they don't use, they want to pass on to their kids and grandkids, and not attorneys or the government, you know?
Mhm.
But what about the ways you can pass it on, Sam?
Well, as far as if leaving your children and grandchildren money is leaving them a legacy is important to you, the best money that you can leave them is tax-free money. And that would either be by Roth or life insurance.
And so it's become even more important now that they've eliminated the stretch IRA. We've talked about that in past happy half hours, where used to be if you left your IRA to your kids, they could take it out a little bit over time every year to stretch over their life expectancy. Now it's 10 years. And boy, it's even more important. And guess what? When they get that money, it goes on the top of it goes into their highest tax bracket, not their average. And boy, and they're usually going to be in their peak earning years, and taxes are probably going to be way high, even higher by then. So a lot of reasons to pay attention to this tax-free sort of set of strategies, you know?
Mhm. All right.
What
So
other
now,
advice can we give them?
yeah. So now, on to teaching them how to fish rather than just giving them a fish. So, as far as helping the next generations cultivate wisdom, you don't need to have a windfall of cash or a huge salary to cultivate wealth. And many of you have experienced this. To accumulate wealth, you really have to cultivate good savings habits. And the key one is to pay yourself first. So if you were to get your check and pay all of your bills, pay for your food, pay for your fun, and then at the end of the day, save what's left, you're probably not going to be saving very much. So it's important to save yourself first and then learn to live on what's left. And it seems simple. You're like, well, yeah, duh, but it's harder than you think. But many of you can attest that that's the key. And some tools to be able to do this are to automate it. And the easiest way is obviously having your employer just take it out of your paycheck. But there are also a whole slew of apps out there on your phone dedicated to helping you automate your savings. So there are all kinds of tools out there to help you automate paying yourself first.
It's a good idea to get your grandkids thinking this way,
Mhm.
and then there's the third, isn't there?
Yes, and you've put up the picture of the latte, and the question, it's watching your spending, and more importantly, watching your frivolous spending. It's asking yourself, do I really need that $5 latte? Could that $5 each morning that I spend on Starbucks be better spent on travel, a home, a boat, a car, my kids' college? It's
Or your
not
retirement.
or my retirement. It's not about denying yourself things, but taking the time to be introspective about what really brings you joy, makes you feel fulfilled, and what your goals are, and then using that to create and drive your spending. And
Yeah, we'll mention at this point that there's a gentleman named David Bach. He's kind of famous because he wrote a book, Smart Women Finish Rich. He 20 plus years ago as a new financial advisor, he realized that that women were being underserved and widows were being underserved in advice and he wrote a book, Smart Women Finish Rich. But lately he realized the importance of teaching kids to define what's important and to save. And he wrote a book called The Latte Factor. And we have 5 copies of this book available. We've got 5 copies, and the first 5 people to email us, what's the address, Amy, they should send it to?
They should send it to info, INFO, at carolinarp.com. I'll put it in the Facebook comments. Actually, I just put it in as you said it, so it's in there now.
So the first 5 to email us a request there to info at carolinarp.com, retirementplanners.com. We'll send you a copy. This is a great book to give to your grandkids. And it actually talks about, it's written in a way that's very accessible to them. And it tells the story of when the kid calculated how much, if he didn't blow it all on lattes and fancy lunches and all each day, if he could save so much a day instead, how much more, literally millions he'd have when he he or she got to retirement. So it's a great book to have.
Can I just chime in really quickly?
Uh-huh.
Okay, you actually had me read this book. I was relatively new when I started, and I just want to say it is a great book. And then you told me I can keep the copy of the book. I pass it on to my daughter. She loves it. It is an amazing book. It is, and it's quick read. It took me half a day in the office. It's amazing. I thought it was going to be one of those humdrum, but no, it was a great book. I highly recommend it. Even if you're not one of the 5 people to get the book and give it to your kids or grandkids. It's amazing.
David Bach, The Latte Factor. And David is actually in AE Wealth, the investment advisory group and the investment group we use, he's actually a partner. So he's one of the founding partners in that group. So we have a lot of close ties with David. Great guy. So that's the third thing. The other thing is encouraging them how they save for money in the future. Someone under age 50 can save $6,000 a year in an IRA or Roth IRA, and you can see why they should be considering strategies like putting more, at least part of it, into a Roth versus a regular IRA. Kind of depends on how much they're earning in tax brackets and things, but I see a lot of people, especially in their early years, where they've got mortgages and kids, and their actual tax bracket is fairly low. They'd be better off saving it in a Roth than in a regular IRA. And we already talked about the $15,000 annual gift tax exemption. Okay, we're running late. Got one more. Yeah, it's taking longer than I thought. This is okay. Here's one trick. This is a really cool trick. And if you have a grandchild and you'd really like to help them, here's a couple ideas. So let's say you have a grandchild by the name of Lucy, and Lucy has a job working for a Consolidated Lemonade Stands, and she gets a W-2, say, for, she works the summer and she gets $10,000 a year in her W-2. Now, this could be a lifeguard, this could be someone working all the different summer jobs, but it has to be a job where you get a W-2. She's entitled to put that $6,000. She could take $6,000 and put it into a Roth. Boy, if you put $6,000 into a Roth at, say, age 16, the compounding to your retire is amazing. Plus just the idea that you start. The thing is, a lot of, she may need that money to go to college or for all the other things, maybe money she's using for college or other expenses. But, the IRS doesn't care where that $6,000 comes from. So you could actually open a Roth, have her open a Roth, and you could gift $6,000 into that Roth. As long as she has that in W-2 wages, you could contribute to a Roth for her, and that'd be a great way to help your grandkids. And here's another thought. You can say, Lucy, if you put $1,000 of this 10 into your Roth, if you put 1,000 in, I'll add 5,000 more. So you now have 6,000 total in your Roth. So you could use it to teach her good accumulation habits, good habits in retirement. The idea was start saving early. So just some ideas. This is a great trick for grandparents to help younger people save and get them started and get that first Roth account going. Okay, well I think we're kind of right up against the hour. What do we got? What do we have now?
Well, I think the wine giveaway.
Ah, the best part, the best
Yes.
part. And for those of you who are new, we give away 2 bottles of wine each week to somebody who contacted us, answered an email, liked us and said they were coming on Facebook. If you invite friends and say you did, we'll put 2 entries in for you. And it's a great way to win some wine, you know, and let us other people know about the happy half hour. So.
All right. Well, our winner today of 2 bottles of wine shipped directly to your door from Fermental Bottle Shop is, oh, I definitely spelled this wrong in my, but I know who it is, Scott S. So congratulations, Scott. You are our wine winner this week. And for those of you who did not win, continue to enter. We love to put your name. I love to put your name in my jar each week.
And also a quick hi, Dan and Barbara in the mountains. Tony, good to see you. Cindy, Lynn, and let's see. Cindy also read the book. She says it's awesome, and she passed it on. And hey, everybody, you have a good weekend. And we will see you. We didn't even talk about what we're drinking this week, but this was a long one. So cheers, everybody.
Water.
We'll see you next Thursday, 4:30.
Bye.
Bye-bye.